Hi guys, and welcome. I'm Rosco, and welcome to Sunday night EV cruising. End of a long weekend, and we spend a bit of time just cruising around the EV marketplaces, looking for a few bargains. And this is usually the time when we're checking out prices, checking out cars, and maybe we've got something to sell, or maybe we're looking for something to buy. But we're keeping abreast of the EV markets out there, and thought, well, let's cruise around and spend some time on these markets together. And tonight we're going to have a look at a little bit of a different tact. Some of those cars, well, they might have started off with a whole lot of fanfare, might have started off with a lot of money from the OEMs launching them and a lot of interest, and then they haven't done quite as well as they perhaps expected. Some of these brands haven't been that big in the Australian market in the first place, and you guessed it, there's a hell of a lot of competition out there now. So maybe some are surprising, maybe some are not, but we thought we'd go into a handful. And if there's any out there that you know of that you'd like to check out tonight, message them in. We'll check them out as well while we're here. It's a cruisy Sunday night, and we've just watched the Grand Prix, and that's our guilty pleasure as well. But congratulations to George Russell, and looks like Mercedes and Ferrari have got the hybrid thing sorted out, and they are 47% electric this year, apparently. The rest running on biofuels. But yeah, we still watch it. But if you want some real fun, check out the Formula E. It's fantastic at watching as well. But yeah, they might take a bit of getting used to. But in the meantime, we've had a great time watching that this afternoon. So you might have done the same thing. You're ready to relax now. Let's get into it, and we'll just dive back into last week. We had a good look at some of these cars, looking at used EVs versus new EVs in that $35,000 bracket, and a couple that have come to light in the last week. They were on there, and I missed one in particular. The others come on leaps and bounds. I've already seen a few on the road, and I'm talking about the JSEV. JQ are pulling no punches with their advertising. We're not going that blunt in our messaging here. We're quietly happy about our choices. We're quietly thrilled about where this industry is going and what we're doing. But JQ are pulling no punches here, and this is an absolute bargain. 36,990. There might have been a cheaper price for the first 1,000, and this is about a Kia EVE 3 size car, I think. 4.3, just over 4.3, 4.4 meters long, but yeah, very much like a miniature Land Rover or Range Rover Discovery, or very stylish. I haven't driven one, haven't been inside one. Don't forget, we're not backed by any of the OEMs. None of them on this list would want to back me after tonight, perhaps, but we're not supported by no sponsorship. But this one, again, looking at new versus used, this has come on hot and strong, and I've already seen a few on the road, and I saw one in black today, and very stylish indeed. So these won't be long before the big initial rush is over. But this is a fantastic price compared to some of the other cars we're going to look at tonight. Absolutely outstanding. So keep an eye on the JSEV. And the other one that we also probably should have mentioned last week, which is coming on pretty hot and strong in the sales figures, is the BYD Atto 2. And that's available from BYD Drive Away. And that is, let's have a look, screen share on that one. I think that's about 36,000 Drive Away as well. So absolutely brilliant car. Again, I had a look at one in the flesh the other day out in the wild near to BYD. We had a look at it in a garage when Chris Vanderstock was up visiting on Friday. We had a chat and had a look around. Both agreed this was a really stylish looking car. Really thrilled with the style of this one. The 3's a bit quirky. The one's something different again, but this one, I think it'll hit the mark, and it seems to have got some good reviews overseas in the UK as well. Some guys that are I listened to in a couple of podcasts, are pretty anti BYD or just warming to BYD. They really like this. So that one's hit fairly and squarely in the 35 grand, 36 grand Drive Away mark for maybe the smaller battery. Certainly worth considering. I think this will be a big seller, and because it hits that middle market really nicely, that small SUV market, and significantly cheaper than the Kia EV3. There's no doubt about that. So there's a couple that we went back to last week. when we were looking at those 35k EVs, and plenty more coming on, but nothing really on the used market just yet that represents that's apart from the 803, which are coming on nicely and with deals. Nothing really in this smaller, smaller compact SUV size, which I think is going to continue to be really popular, replacing some of those petrol cars that are on the road at the moment. I really like this one, and I think it's either that and the JQ again. Congratulations for JQ for really pitching hard on that. They're not pulling any punches about what's going on overseas or their their marketing about EVs. And remember, JQ, a motor, part of Cherry, of course, they've got a mix of petrol hybrids, been around for a while now. Of course, the decision you've got to think about making if you're going to go new is whether the backup's going to be there. And Cherry have been around for a while. This JQ is under the Motor brand, which is you might have known as Cherry as well. And that's the thing with BYD; they're making leaps and bounds in terms of the backup and the maintenance and the parts, and some stories of slowness here and there, but they are certainly catching up. Tesla's still leading the pack in terms of longevity. In fact, TOCA, the club, the Tesla Owners Club, are having a 10-year anniversary. Can you believe it? 10 years already. There's been an owners club in Australia for Tesla owners. 10 years already. So they're celebrating 10 years and later in this month as well. So we hope to do something together with them as well. But absolutely amazing that Tesla, they've got the runs on the board. They've got the infrastructure, they've got the maintenance, parts, materials, repairs. It takes a little bit of time, but no longer than an ICE car. BYD are fast catching up, and they've got their own maintenance centres and own repair centres now, having bought that in-house. So they're not far behind. So you probably back BYD as a brand next. And Cherry and JQ, yeah, it's just the question when you're going something cheaper, whether you take that risk. It's entirely up to you. We all took a risk originally with some of these brands. We all might be happy in hindsight, but that's perhaps one of the stories that whether you want to check out the Facebook groups, whether you want to check out the forums on something like the JQ, whether they'll have the parts, just something simple like a windscreen or a bump or a dent, just to ensure that the simple things can get fixed quickly and easily. And the smash repair guys are catching up because they are running behind at the moment. Tesla is reasonably well covered, but they're running hard to catch up to get people on the ground to service these new cars as well, and getting parts and making sure we've got parts here as well. So the two balancing factors, fantastic cheap deal, or with an established existing used EV, the parts are here, the maintenance is here, the skills are on the ground, people on the ground with the skills to maintain it. Those are the two things I'm thinking about when I'm looking at a new versus used car now. But don't want to forget these two deals that probably should have brought to you, but this will be an ongoing topic. We'll come back to this. This is not the end of the story. There's plenty more to come here on this, and we'll catch up with that a bit later on. But on the EV Marketplace show on Wednesday night, our regular show where we're looking at all things EVs, used EVs, the deals, the data, and the discovery. We had a couple of guests on last week. One was Nathan Gore-Brown, and he went out and did a test on this 336,000 K Tesla Model Y. And just harking back to that again, because we've had a couple of listings since then, well over 100 Ks, and another one over 200 Ks. And we put a teaser video out there. Check that out. I'm going to spoil the secret tonight if you guys are listening. It's really surprised me, the result on the battery test of this. Nathan Gore-Brown from Test EV went out in the suburbs in Queensland, took a look at this car. It was a 22 Tesla Model Y, same as mine, 3 years old, done 336,000 kilometres, genuine. It's been an Uber car. That explains it. The owners rent it out as an Uber car, time to sell it and upgrade. We went up for a battery check, which checks the top level, percentage of state of health versus what it was like new, capacity, state of health at the battery and cell level, all the way down to ensuring that it's 100% working at this point. And absolutely amazing result, because we could not believe it when we saw this one. And I was just astounded. This car's done effectively 13 years running on an average Ks per year. If you did 25 or 30 Ks a year, that's 10 years. Another one for that's 11. If you did 25, that's 12, 13. It's done a lifetime of an average ICE car already in 3 years. Mine's done 100. This has done 335. And believe it or not, you may have seen the video, you may not have. It was on Facebook, and I've scooped it around the place. Here's the frontline battery testing, 86.6% capacity. So it was a 61 kilowatt an hour battery, just to get digging deep in the nerdy stuff. It's now down to, I think, 51 kilowatt hour usable capacity. It's 86.6% of the usable capacity of that battery after 335,000. And I don't know how many charges. I would have to have been charged up at least once a day by DC charging to get a couple of shifts to get the 2,000 Ks a week out of it that you'd need to get over 3 years to get to this K figure. So it would have to have been charged DC charging. So it would have to have been charged a couple of times a day. Absolutely remarkable. I just can't believe this result. So just bring that to attention. Whether you might be one of those ones to take a punt on one of these cars. This one, probably not priced as well. I can hear you screaming over the microphones, over the airwaves. Maybe not priced as well as it could be. We've had a BYD that had done close to 200. And now the same guys have got this one, a Model 3, which we haven't battery tested yet. This one's done 214, and they've got a more modest $29,000 price tag on this one. Again, great condition, really nice. This has had work done. This has had upgrades as well. It's had the HW3 computer upgraded. So, yeah, all sorts of upgrades. There's been maintenance done, all the stuff to keep them roadworthy for Uber and for general roadworthiness. So not sitting there with any damage, not sitting there waiting to have something done to it. It's ready to go. And another one there, 214. These cars are lasting a lot longer than I ever expected. A lot longer. I'm very quietly confident, very happy that we put together this website, this marketplace, Amazing EV, with a dream about selling used EVs to people and having reliable cars that could be offered, and probably taking a big gamble there because we didn't know what was going to happen. And despite all the noise, all the stories, just absolutely incredible that, yeah, these cars are just exceeding all expectations, I think. And yeah, if you want data, you want information, there's plenty overseas. There's plenty of research from Avalou, from Recurrent, from all sorts of people, from independent research. But the cars on the ground are proof in the pudding. Yes, I know there's been problems, there's been issues. Another guy owned a Tesla Model Y and described some issues to me the other night, and that put him off. Thanks, Daryl. Yes, I know there's individual circumstances and individual problems getting fixed or not. We're fully aware of that, like any car. Overall, the results are much, much better than we ever expected. So once again, we're going to keep track of these stories, and happy to take any cars that have been repaired, WOVI, on the written off inspection register. We're happy to list those. And if you want to list with us, it's $29.95. That'll give you a 3-month listing until it sells. We're pretty flexible. It should sell within 3 months. It's averaging about 60 days at the moment. But we're going to put it out there. We'll feature it on this channel. We'll feature it on our Wednesday night channel. We'll put it on Facebook, social media, LinkedIn. You'll get more exposure than you're going to get with a static listing on car sales. We'll get the word out there. And these cars are selling, and they're selling well. The demand is going very strong this year. So we're seeing a good uptake, particularly with EVs and particularly with more the value end of EVs. And so we're excited about that. There's some great deals here, and I'm going to look at a couple a bit later on as well as part of our search for some of those ones that haven't been quite as loved as they should be. We've got a couple of great listings here that have just come up that fall into that category. So let's dive in. But before we do that, a community announcement. Mrs. Amazing and I are going on a AEVA, that's the Australian Electric Vehicle Association rally on Tuesday, and it is still open if anyone wants to join. It's free to join. It's a day out of your time. It's a day out of your day to support Climate Action Week. What better week in this this heated environment of world geopolitics than to get on board with an initiative like this? And yeah, look, if anyone asks me what I love most about EVs, I'm going to say, look, there's a dozen things I love about driving them and owning them. But yeah, one of the great things I love is the fact I'm not using any more petrol. I'm using electricity. And that is a fantastic thing about this. So we're happy to celebrate Climate Action Week with AEVA. If you still want to join, there's limited places left. I think some of the details are on the AEVA website, aeva.org, I think. Check it out. We'll put the details in the link below tonight. Join us if you like. It'll be a fun day out. There'll be some photo ops, but we're going to take a drive up to the Blue Mountains for lunch, back to Olympic Park to celebrate Climate Action Week. I better get that right. Climate Action Week, and looking forward to that as well. So that'll be a great event, and can't wait to be part of that as well. So that will be a wonderful day out driving the used EV, and Blue Mountains, for anyone that doesn't know, in Sydney is a beautiful part of the world. So looking forward to going up there for lunch as well. So let's dive in now. And I've got a list about that long, which some of which I'll get through, some of which I won't. But if you've got any ideas, if you've got anything that you'd like to see, that you want to hear about, or you're listening to this later on, you come back to me and put something in the comments about something that you've seen, or something that you've bought, or something that you own and actually really enjoy, and perhaps doesn't fall into this category that you think. Because again, these are fantastic cars in many ways, and we're not covering some that, well, there's a few exceptions, but on the whole, we're not covering any that didn't fall into that category, where I'd say they are a great deal now that they're priced probably a little bit more attractively than they were new. Some of them just maybe didn't have the features to back up the price when they started. Some of them were not as good, and some of them have just been lost in time as newer, better economic value propositions, like some of those $35,000 cars have come on, $35,000 cars have come onto the market in the last 6 months. These have just got left behind. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the used market as we count down. And I've had a look at some of this, but a lot of this research is just raw right now, and we're diving in together. So my first one is the Polestar 4, which, again, brilliant accolades when this car came out. And this car is still an $80,000, $90,000 car, brand new. And we got this listing just yesterday. Some very good friends of mine in a dealership, and most of the cars we sell are privately owned, but these guys are like private owners. They just deal in very small, limited numbers of petrol and electric cars. Parabolic Automotive in Dural. Shout out to Nathan and the gang out there. I've got this listed on their behalf, because this car at $67,888, a Polestar 4 single motor long range, done, that means 620k range for $67,000. This car's only done 3,800 odd Ks. It is absolutely brand new. It's got a couple of packs. It's got the big wheels. It's got a lot of gear on it. This is brand new, and it's 20 grand off brand new easily. These cars are just absolutely amazing. And I'd love to love the Polestar a bit more. You've a lot of noise about the company overall, a lot of noise about the longevity of the company. And on the one hand, a lot of Polestar 2s have been selling really well. Polestar 4, in fact, has probably outsold the Polestar 2 in the last 12 months or so since it came on the market. We'll have a look at some of the new car numbers a bit later on, just as a guide, just to give us some reference here. But Polestar 4 was outselling the Polestar 2. So still a soft spot for the Polestar 2. They're going really well in the mid-30s, 35. They've settled down. But this one, again, brilliant car. Anyone Ubering, anyone want an executive car, anyone who, I think this would be a great Uber car. Any businessman, any person that looking to novated lease a car, this would be absolutely perfect. Falls easily under the FBT category. Outstanding opportunity here. We're having a chat to the guys at WhipSmart maybe next Wednesday, and they could be the guys that you want to talk to about leasing. But this is an outstanding deal. Less than a Tesla Model Y. A lot of kudos about the way Polestar does things. You're balancing up the longevity, but they're battling hard. More news this week I saw about at least two or three models coming out in the next couple of years. Polestar 5, again, another amazing over-the-top car, but more on a practical basis. This has been a bit polarizing because of that lack of rear window. Those that love it, again, love it. Those that don't get it. But for those that love it, brilliant car. Looks great. This should have been the replacement for the Polestar 2 for me at 40, 50, 60 grand. Just down spec'd a little bit. This with a rear window. This would have been a brilliant replacement. But we hear news that a Polestar 2 replacement is on its way. This is a brilliant car. Again, you want Polestar, you're looking at Polestar, and you're happy to dive in with some of the noise around at the moment. This is certainly your car, and this is our first unloved EV at the moment, which I think represents a fantastic deal based on that price. We had a look at the driven new car numbers a bit earlier this afternoon. They diligently compile all the models, all the new car sales models, new models numbers, and they've got the data for Jan and Feb this year already. We use that as a bit of a guide to pick up on some of these cars, just remind ourselves to. And if you want to go to the Driven website, they've got that detail there, or the latest blog. I think Giles, one of the team members there, keeps this diligently. And of course, the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries, they keep these numbers. They count all the EOMs were members of the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries, and they keep the numbers. They count. Of course, a couple of them pulled out. Tesla and Polestar pulled out about a year ago when they objected to the new energy standards and the support from the Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber about those. So they pulled out. They report to the EVC, the Electric Vehicle Council. So the Driven put all these numbers together and try and compile them and keep them in one chart. And then you get down to the bottom with some 000s where I don't think there's no sales. I think there's just a lack of reporting in some cases, and it's taken a while for some of them to come through, either directly or indirectly. So some of them may not have reported by the time this went to air. But so don't hold too much into the numbers there. This gave us a bit of a cheat sheet as to look at some models as to what they were. To remind us about some incredible range that we've got. Number one, number two, incredible depth of models that sometimes you even forget about that just are not getting advertised. There's no doubt about it, because they're not making the headline numbers, and some of the ones that are still falling through the cracks. And I've looked at this list about 5 times, and I can't find the Porsche Macan EV. So if anyone's looking at this list while I flick through and it's blatantly glaring out at me, can you just put something in the messages, because I can't find it. The Taycan's still there, and I can see that without too much trouble, but I can't see the Macan. And there's plenty of Macans on the road. We live in Sydney Central and not far from a Porsche dealership, but east of city, driving around, you see a lot of Macans, and there's quite a few on the road. I'm surprised already by the numbers. Can't see any in the numbers, in the sales figures for January, February this year. So we're not looking at new car sales. We're just picking up on some of these to look back at how they did on the new car market. And there's the Polestar 4, almost 200 units this year already. So maybe it's a bit mean to call it unloved. The Polestar 2 has done 90 this year, still ticking along. No, there's no doubt that Polestar 2 is on the way out, but I don't think there'll be a replacement this year. Uber drivers, myself included, love the Polestar 2. There's plenty around as Uber drivers. Very handy vehicle. We've been in one a couple of times. Very comfortable, very nice. First car EV I ever drove, you might have heard me say, was a Polestar 2. That Polestar 4 is already doing double the amount than the Polestar 2. Is it unloved? Maybe that's a bit unfair, but it's not quite doing as well as I would have thought, right? So having said that, the GWM Aura, again, seems to tick away, and there's virtually no media on it anymore. It's been around for 2 or 3 years now, and that was next on my list because, again, You just don't see it that round that much. There's some great deals on the new car market. Let's go and have a look and see what we can find. What's that? The cheapest GWM Aura, cheapest used GWM Aura we can find, because I think, again, great car, just a matter of the price. I think just a matter of finding one that's cheap enough. And I'm happy to use the opposition's reference here. They've got 90% of the cars on the marketplace, on the market at the moment. Dealers have got a relationship with them. They link through. This is where they all are for this sort of fun. I don't mind. One day we might be a threat. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't be. But let's go price low to high. So you can get a GWM 23 done 604 Ks. So dealer used, but very low Ks. That's it. Wow, look at that. Somehow this 2023 Aura is only 26,000 Ks, and it's only done 600 kilometers. So maybe it's been sitting in a shed for a while. Definitely get a battery check on this one before I went any further. It's just been sitting around doing nothing. Am I reading this right? I got to double check. The odometer reading is 604 Ks. This has been sitting absolutely bizarre. Exclusive preferred dealership in RMA, all the platitudes, nothing special on it. That is an absolute bargain. I would buy this over the BYD Atto 1. For me, this looks a bit like a police car. That's another story. Old-fashioned police car with a white roof. But I would buy this as a little town car. Offer them 25. I reckon that's a deal there over anything else that's coming out just at the moment. Definitely get a battery check on it. Battery's been sitting around for 3 years now. Just double check. But that's remarkable compared to this one. Again, the opposite. You can have the Penguin. Either way, black on white or white on black. This one's done 18,000 kilometers. Again, get in touch with a dealer. From a dealer. Absolutely remarkable. Once again, 28,000 for this GWM Aura. Again, a 23 model, but extraordinary low Ks. Look, next to Westfield, Helensvale, next to Pacific Highway, What state of win-win? Queensland. So one in New South Wales, one in Queensland. Mrs. Amazing loved this when it first came out. I still haven't driven one. Just, again, it's sort of slipped under the radar. Hasn't done as many, doesn't get talked about it a lot. I know Gary in WA. Shout out to Gary. He's owned one. He's got one. I think that's I think that's a really good deal. Unloved used EV, 25 to 26,000 dollars, less than 20,000 Ks on the clock. One with 600. There is a good deal. I haven't driven an Atto 1. It's probably, each to his own in this style. There's a few coming. There's the Aeon coming. There's the Neo is probably coming. There's the Geely EX2 probably coming. Plenty of competition in this. And again, cute little style on this one. That interesting sort of roundy, curvy, egg-shaped style. Not for everyone. But yeah, pretty well appointed. Good deal here. So that's number 2 on my list of EVs that are perhaps unloved that, again, still represent pretty good deals. Well, very good deals, but very good value and pretty good cars as well. Even by this day and age where we're still crying out for a small car choices, this is one that you want to consider. I don't see many on the road. I mean, again, they've sold 200 odd in that last, going back through our lists, going back, Polestar 4, 225 already this year. Again, ticking along. It's been around for 3 years now. So, yeah, maybe, again, unfair that I'm calling it unloved, but just don't see many around and still I reckon that's a great deal. If you can find one used or trying to find one a demo or very close to new, that's a brilliant deal because they're still, I think they got 30 up, might be 30,000 new, but still, if you can get a drive away, something like 25, 26 plus government costs and charges in your local state, That was brilliant. So that's number two. Number three is is a real outlier, and that's something someone asked me about the other day. Um, if I was keen on doing a review on, they'd stumbled upon it. One of my viewers, and I'd forgotten all about it. I didn't even think it was coming to Australia, and that's the Alfa Romeo Junior in EV form. And there's a Alfa Romeo. Well, my very first car was an absolute rust bucket of an Alfa Romeo Sud, which I think means city. Correct me, this is amazing. SUD. Um, but it was an absolute rust bucket. I don't know why someone didn't tap me on the shoulder and say, "Do not do this," because I was enthralled by this car for some fascinating reason, and it was cute. But what a rust bucket! And yeah, it just disappeared into a heap of rust in the suburbs of Auckland, never to be seen again, unfortunately. But I have still had a soft spot for Alfa Romeos, and again, Italian through and through. This one, yeah, again, the style and design. No sales recorded there. Again, not sure if that's not reported or not recorded, but yeah, again, you go searching for an Alfa Romeo, and they made them the interesting Alpha AL. They made the interesting choice of bringing the petrol version out as well, which I won't look at because it's 10 grand. It's 10 grand less already than the EV for sale. So yeah, disappointing. But while everybody else is trying their best, particularly in Europe, to price their EVs at around about the same as an entry level petrol, Alpha said, "No, can't be bothered. It's going to be 10 grand more." Um, let's have a look. I found one. I think I found one at McCarroll's. McCarroll's are an Alpha dealership up in, and Fiat. They're a Stellantis dealership in North Shore of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Carry a beautiful range of Ferrari, Fiat. They've got the Leap motor up there. They've got Geely. They've got the Fiat 500e, which we might get to later on. They've got Alpha. And there it is at 2025 model, 28,000 drive away. So no deals on this one yet. It just fell on the used market. I couldn't even find one. I could barely find one that was used. But I mean, this is a sort of car. Oh, this is a demo. This has been registered demo 68 drive away. New car prices on the road's a bit more than that. But they've put a demo on the road. Yeah, I'd forgotten about completely about this car. I think it's a great little design. Again, when you compare it about the size, I think I had a quick look at the size before. Compare it to the JQ at, goddamn, almost double the price. It's an uphill battle. That's all I can say, Alpha. No matter how much brand cachet there, yeah, and drivers cachet these brands have got, and Alpha hasn't been doing that well. And look, if you can tell by Googling it, you almost get virtually no responses. That's how much money they've spent on SEO. Amazing EV comes up first because it's my Chrome browser and I've got it tuned right in, but you don't get a heck of a lot of info in terms of SEO on Alfa Romeo. So yeah, maybe that's a giveaway in this day and age. How many references come up when you Google something? How much money is being spent on SEO? So number 3 on our list of unloved EVs is the little Alfa Romeo Junior SUV. Yeah, it's a pity because again, you'd love to love that car. Well, let's see when it probably does come onto the used market, because I think it's a 50 grand car all day long. Let's have a look at the opposition again. They're 75,000. So that deal at McCarroll's in New South Wales in Sydney town at 68 grand. That's all right. And look, here's another one here. Dealer demo in Queensland for 65,990 drive away. There's a nice black one with some very fancy wheels. Maybe that's got more spec. I haven't gone into it, but that's got a few. There's a demo there. Drive away. Yeah, love this one. Not bad. Maybe a polarizing style, but cutish with the big Alpha grille. But yeah, probably in this day and age almost twice as much as it needs to be. Interesting. Look forward to those coming on and some better pricing as well, because I think, yeah, that might disappear into oblivion. And again, had to be reminded that this one was even on the market in Australia. Haven't seen any reviews, haven't seen any YouTubers. If anyone wants to do this one, Chris, if you want to drive an Alpha, please go out and ask them. Ludicrous feed if you want to go out and ask them. But Tom, anybody, can someone go out and drive an Alpha so we can actually see what it's like? Anyway, looking forward to that. Next on my list, again, Toyota BZ4X, and very interesting what's going on here, because again, maybe that's not as unloved as perhaps what you might think, because you can go up the list a bit further and find that the Toyota old model, well, there is a new model now already, doing reasonably well on the new car charts. So again, probably hasn't received a lot of high praise from people on some of the forums I'm on, at least. And the original one, yeah, it probably named more like a robot from Star Wars than the rest of the nicely named Toyota range. 393 sales this year so far, just behind the Kia EV3. So maybe Toyota are doing some deals with their fleets and encouraging government who have bought Toyota. We're not privy to that information. Certainly, a lot of fleet sales go to Toyota. A lot of government fleet sales go to Toyota. No doubt about that. And that might be the reason why it is doing so well still on the new car market. So we thought we'd just have a look on the used car market. Let's just have a look what sort of deal you can now get on a Toyota BZ4X used, just as a matter of interest. BZ, just to see if they are, if the vibe on them is that it's not that good, or there are better cars out there for the money. Everything has a price. So let's see if that's starting to be reflected in the used car market. Cars. Let's see if there are any really good deals out there, because again, people are buying them, they're using them. I've seen a couple on the road, but not that many. BZ4X 2025 two-wheel drive is the basic model, price low to high. I'm gonna have a cup of tea. We've got the American flag there. We're not supporting America at the moment. Mrs. Amazing, she's going to have a pink fit that I've used that cup. But so 2023, 37990. This one's been on the market for quite some time. I've tracked a few of these, and that one has been on the market for a while now. Yeah, I remember the photos now. So that perhaps, look, everything's got its price, and that's even more interesting. There you go. I imported this vehicle new from Japan. It's fully complied and registered on the best EVs on the market. This car's a dream to drive. Okay, so there's a very keen Toyota driver. That's very interesting, but that's been for sale for a while now. I've noticed that one, private seller. I don't know what the starting price was, but 37. I think that's still too much. You could get a Model Y for 37,990 at 2022. Probably 40 grand would get you a 2023 Model Y. Done maybe a few more Ks. Doesn't matter that it's only done 14,000. I'd buy a 60,000 K Model Y. G'day, Hal. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Hope you've had a good weekend and you're cruising the markets with us this evening. But we're in the middle of a Toyota BZ4X, and perhaps I shouldn't dwell on this too long, because that's an interesting one, a Japanese import. So very curious. I can't find another decent deal on a 24 or 23. So they're going to remain unloved in my mind for a while till they get down to mid to early to mid 30s. They just don't seem to be really near, considering how probably unloved they've been new. They are not quite getting to the mark for people to walk up and buy them on the used market. So I'd say a lot of those went to fleet buyers, new, who were happy to look at Toyota and the whole scheme, packages in this whole scheme of things. There's a new BZ4X coming with better upgrades, better battery, much longer range, better software, better everything, which is going to represent a much better deal. And I don't think it, even at 39, 40,000, 42, 46, yeah, these are coming close to something on the market for Tesla at the moment. So interesting, but yeah, and we could look at the Subaru Solterra, but I think there's even less of those being sold on the new market. I think the Toyota name is carrying the load on that, and no doubt, I'm not sure if that is representing a deal on the used EV market at the moment. So, but that anyway, the market speaks in the end. The market will adjust the pricing, and eventually they'll drop the prices until they get to the stage where they will sell. But I think that's closer to mid 30s, definitely, than early 40s on some of those. So let's jump to another really curious and funky car. Again, unloved, unfortunately, since probably the day it was born. I'm talking about the Ioniq 6. And again, love or hate, some notable people have bought this car. I think I heard they were dropping it in the US. There's been a recent refresh as well, and an N version. So they've still spent money on it. I've got to say the whole Ioniq range brand has been disappointing. Launched brilliant fanfare. We've got an Ioniq 5 at the moment, just as an aside, that is a great deal, absolutely brilliant deal. That $46,000 and it's done at 18,000. Again, almost brand new. That's well below. At 2023, with a battery check on this one, take a look at this one, because this was really well loved, and it's still loved on the used EV market. When it's not one of our unloved ones, but yeah, the prices are very good on these as well. So take a look at that one when you get a chance, because this is a almost brand new car, 2023, done almost 19,000 Ks. In Victoria, Derek Siona, you can ring him. It's on the website. That is a brilliant car, and yeah, love that car. It's always hinted to me of but a Lancia Delta Integrale. But the Ioniq 6, it's big brother, big sister. Well, that's another story altogether, because she was not as pretty, and I have lost there. But yeah, it's been single digits for a while now. Again, if you can see there, that number for the Ioniq 6. Disappointed that again they've brought the Elixio out. Hyundai, they've gone off in a couple of. They bought the Insta, and they bought the Elixio. A couple of different directions. Elixio's already done a few. I saw somewhere it's already done all right. There it is. It's already done 117. Again, good value at 55. The Ioniq seem to get left behind at 70 or 80. They had a premium. They were great, but they've adjusted back down to the market to be really competitive in the US. But here, still remaining a premium, but no follow-up. Insta's off in a bit of a different direction as a small compact that was something else that became the Insta, and as a petrol car in Korea. But I would have loved to seen the Ioniq name develop more. I don't know what's going on at Hyundai. They've got the big SUV as well, but Kia have got the whole range covered, and they have really established the brand essence, like it or love it in terms of the style, and really locked it in. But Hyundai have sort of that Hyundai 5 and 6 are 3 years old now. I was considering that in sort of way back in late 22, 23, but yeah, it made another choice in terms of the Tesla. But so let's see if we can find. Let's see what we've got in terms of Ioniq 6s, because there have been a few going through the secondhand market. Ioniq 6, and I have a feeling that they weren't selling that well, and for sale used. Then suddenly a whole lot went through the used EV market as used EV sales. So I think there were a whole lot of demos late last year. Let's see if you can get a bargain on one of these now, because again, if you like it, you're going to love it. Mike Costello, from Cox Automotive, a notable owner and self-confessed lover of the Ioniq 6. So he got a good deal on his last year and was very happy to as owner. If you want some reference of to how this drives and what it's like, ask Mike on LinkedIn because he owns one. What are we down to? 37,701 drive away. Now we're talking for a car that's done 13,586. And that is a brilliant car. That actually, I really like that color. I've never seen that color before. It's just that sort of slopey Citroen, I guess Citroen-esque back. That's quite a cool car. That's not a bad car at all. You know, can compare that with some other smaller cars again, and that we looked at in that 35,000 K range, sedanish. This is a 614 k's of range. It's got power, it's got range, it's got everything. It's got the comfort of a sedan. It's probably lacking a little of storage. Hope it's got a frunk. I haven't even done my research on whether. Can anyone tell me if a it's just a just crazy. Did you hear Cars 24 just traded an Atto one for 30k Atto on? I didn't. Hal, I digress. I'm just looking up. No, I didn't. Cars 24. We're back to the bad old days where Cars 24 traded a 30k Atto one for 41k. Well, I think there's Atto ones around, and I think there's other cars around that are coming. So yeah, if you want to pay 45 retail for on Cars 24, go for your life. I think there's better buying out there. So Ioniq 5 super solid, looks dated. Yeah, they needed a good refresh and didn't get one, or they needed something more in the iconic line. I agree how it's Ioniq 6. Yeah, that color. I mean, yeah, at 37, I could almost talk myself into that. I wasn't a fan. I'm not a huge fan of the style. Again, in black, not bad either. But at 37, that's the best deal I can find. That's starting to, again, we're talking, they're pushing it at 20, 44, 45 still. 30, there's another one, 37, dealer used, done 8,000. That's almost brand new. I have a feeling they demoed a lot of these. They put them on demonstrator plates and then registered them and sold them through the secondhand market to get rid of them because there's no way that these sold new. And yeah, that's a very, again, 11,000 Ks. So there's starting to be some very good deals here in some of these cars. And again, not a few known issues about some of the mechanicals on the Hyundais. Check the forums, have a look, make sure the warranty still starts today and doesn't start make sure you got plenty of warranty left. Battery health verified by Avalou. That's interesting. Let's have a look at this one. See if they got a Lover battery health verified. Give me the certificate. Let's have a look. Come on. This is what's happening when you're on live TV. I haven't had a look at this, so no. Verified, but no joy there. 30s, not a bad deal. Again, not exactly loved new. That colour there, what do you think, Mrs. Amazing? I don't mind that colour and those wheels. That's pretty funky. That's Avalou colours as well. That's about the colour that Nathan Gore Brown from Avalou bought. Test EV with Avalou bought his car, his Ioniq, his a bath, and that I don't know. That's got me that colour, but 70,000 private sale in WA. Good luck and good luck over there. That's very interesting. That Ioniqs, and yeah, would have loved to have seen Ioniq 4. Would have loved to see a new Ioniq 5 by now. Nothing scooped, no new news, nothing. Come on, Hyundai. Let's see some more out of the Ioniq. Maybe we've got time for one more. Let's and yeah, maybe two more. Okay, let's Fiat 500e, Mrs. Amazing's favorite. All right, let's have a look. Nathan Gore Brown has just bought in a bath for less than 40,000. I'm not buying that. These have come down in price. We looked at them 2 years ago. They were 52 or something on the road. It was ridiculous. Beautiful and a cute little car. Again, same sort of size as around town, for sale, used. And we loved it. And now I've had clients buy one new. They got down to sub 40. They did a deal a year ago, sub 40. Let's see if we can start finding something reasonable close to. Let's see if we can find a sub 30 price low to high. Again, yes, hooray, we found one back in WA this time. There you go. There's some sensible things happening in WA. Anybody in WA looking for that does, let's just say that you don't need to drive very far. Let's just say you live in a retirement village, and let's just say you just drive locally to the shops and back again on small family trips around town or up around into the Swan Valley or down south to Mandurah. This would be the ideal car for you because beautiful inside. They made the mistake, or rightly or wrongly, bought out the top spec. Thought they were going to get a premium for it. They didn't bring out a basic model. It's hardly been supported. I think they've gone back to hybrid in Italy and Europe. Stellantis don't know what to do with it, but we'd own one tomorrow if we had the money. It as a second car around town. Just two people in the front of this car. Absolutely brilliant, like a little go-kart, and really plush, really, really nicely fitted out, really comfortable. Love this car. So there it is, 40,000 Ks, not a huge range, only 300 Ks, maybe 250 in reality. Brilliant car, absolutely brilliant. In WA, there it is. We've cracked now we're starting to talk 25 grand, excluding government charges, so a bit of stamp duty on top of that. 34 grand, I think that's a little bit unrealistic still for a 2023 model. I think that might be a little bit. There's a deal there at 25. Someone really wanted to get rid of that one. The rest, yeah, still, we're not getting there yet. Can't wait to see. I think Nathan bought a Bath for close to 40 grand. So these ones, yeah, I think these are new cars in stock. So plenty new. Still trying to move, but a couple on the used car market. Love these cars. Would still love to get one. So that 25K. Now we're talking. Hopefully, see more of those and get down to 20K for anyone who perhaps lives in a retirement village, doesn't need to travel that far. Or anyone younger who just wants a cute little car to zap around town, can't recommend these more highly. One more maybe, and we're going to put the Insta on that category, but I just don't think there's enough deals on the Insta yet. I think it's a 25 grand now, 25, 30 grand car. And I think we'll wrap this up with a couple more. One here, Audi Q8 e-tron. Talk about not hearing much about EVs. Audis are really popular in the UK on the used market and the new EV market. Audi. Now, again, G8. Talk about, and they have been supportive of G8 EV. They have been supportive of everything electric last year. Maybe they're back this year. I don't know if they were at the motor show in Melbourne just recently. G8 EV models for sale now. Audi owners would know this car. Audi lovers would probably know this car. Audi are probably not selling a hell of a lot of these cars. If we go back to our scoreboard, go down the bottom, I think Audi, this is what reminded me. Audi Q6 e-tron, Audi Q4 e-tron, Audi, let's go Q4 e-tron. Let's go something a little bit smaller and just see what Audi have got, because there's 2 or 3 models. Q4. Again, Audi owners, Audi lovers would love these. I had an Audi A3 16 years ago. It was a beautiful little car. It was a demo S-Line X demo, fantastic little car, like a Volkswagen Golf size, like a Volkswagen R. Let's see, are we on used, new? Let's again one more low to high price. Again, 24 Audi Q4 at 65 grand, done 10,000 Ks. Yeah, they're not there yet, and I'm not going to start getting into Mercedes or BMW tonight either, because for a car that has not done, and again, maybe Audi are happy with this. Maybe they're happy with the way they're doing in EVs. They're doing a lot better in the UK. 24, 67 Ks, 67 grand. Just way up there in terms of price. We could start getting to the Europeans maybe next time about Unloved or European EVs. That might be the theme next week. We might go into a deeper dive on European EVs just to see what's out there on the used market and see what you can buy, because some of them haven't done that well. Mercedes have had full revamp. Let's have a look at Porsche. Let's have a look at Audi. Let's have a look at the BMWs. Again, BMW have done really well, just ticking away in the background. There's a couple I'm going to miss out tonight. Maybe you can go and do some more research. Genesis GV70, and there's some enormous Genesis dealerships around the place, and I just think, but I just don't see much vibe on Genesis as well. But again, we're not seeing much from Hyundai in that regard as well. We'll leave it there tonight. A couple I missed. I was going to have a look at the Renault Megane E-Tech, the Mini Cooper Electric. The list goes on and on. The Insta, the Skoda Elrock. There's a bargain basement unit for 50 grand now, representing great value. And again, Skoda haven't been huge on the new car market, but doing numbers probably closer to Volkswagen now, and a bit of a resurgence. Cupra, again, almost with a great deal of fanfare with the Born, but the Tavascan, not a word. So that might be the theme for next week. Let's jump into some of the Europeans next week and go hard and have a look at some of the European EVs, see where they've got to, steer away from the Chinese, and we'll just see what's out there on the used market for European EVs. But hey, thanks for joining us on EV Cruising on the Sunday night. Had a lot of fun, checked out a few deals, and look forward to catching you next week. I'm Rosco, and we'll see you then.